Gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. How is everyone doing this evening? One moment. Got some stuff that needs to be adjusted here. All right, there we go. So, welcome back to Surreal Sundays. I'm your host, Old School Exit 9. And tonight, we're going to be getting into Ryan Hilton, his father, Rodney Hilton. But before we get into that, we're going to talk about what's going on with Tyre Nichols and the situation with that. With the cops, that was involved. It was three of them that had state charges, and all three of them was acquitted on all state charges. Okay, so we're gonna check out the material relating to that, and again, got another case going on with the 18-year-old that was deleted by the police in Cleveland, Ohio, and his father, Rodney Hilton, he got into some trouble as well. As a response to that. Okay, so we got that. If we have time, I have something lined up for Snatch Shenanigans. Also, if we have time, we're gonna dive into police case, court case that happened a couple years ago. Again, our people was gunned down, um, and this cop also got off for right now because he got off on a hung jury. Okay, so that those proceedings happened this past week. Okay, so we got that. We got Snatch Shenanigans. I got something lined up for this week's tidbit in health, and we got the hot video. So without further ado, you know what we do. Let's get it.
You are now listening to some old school shit.
So again, welcome back to another episode of Surreal Sundays. Like I said, in the prelude, we was getting into Tyre Nichols. Okay, what happened in what's that? Memphis, Tennessee. All right. But before we do anything, give me one quick moment. I gotta make a couple of adjustments with my communication outside the studio room. All right, that's already set in place. Already set in place. All right. All right. So next, before we get anything else going, got to get my music going. Can't wait to get me a couple of extra tools so I can help automate some of this stuff. All right. Got some tunes going on in the background. Next up, is the video. Make sure that's going on correctly. All right. Since I already got that up, let me go ahead and deal with the owner of the thing before we get going. Yes, that's good enough. All right, so we all set to go. Let's check out this video. We're gonna start off with the footage of the incident. Okay, we're gonna go and check that out, and then we're gonna, peel back the layers as we go through what happened on that awful night for that young man. All right, so let's get it.
Blow the off. Damn, I didn't do anything. Hey, I didn't turn your ass around. All right. On the ground. All right. No. You don't do that, okay? Get on the ground. Okay. I'm going to tase your ass. All right, I'm on the ground. Lay down. That's all. Lay down. Please stay on the ground. I think tase you. Get on the ground. Lay down. One. Now. I tase it. All right. Okay. All right. Break your shit. Okay, dude. Damn. Put your hands on your back. Bitch, put your hands on your back. Okay. I'm gonna knock your ass. Hey, you guys are really doing a lot right now.
Bro, lay down.
I'm just trying to go home. Man, if you don't lay down. Oh, I am on the ground. Put your hands on your stomach. I got you. Straight. Okay. Stop! I'm not doing it. Stay.
Okay, so the video's kind of long, and I'm gonna be interjecting quite a bit. So to let you know where we at in the video and to reduce risk of copyright strikes. So what you just witnessed was the first interaction, the initial interaction, the stop, and then the wrestling with Tyre Nichols on the ground and what have you. Now Tyre, he gets up and runs down the street, okay? And then this video shows quite a bit of footage of the officers collecting themselves, other officers coming to the scene, being directed where Tyre ran to, then they go in that direction. And one of the officers that were that was charged on the state level, he's continuously getting his eyes washed out because he got hit with some of the mace that was used to subdue Tyre. Okay, so the other officer is helping him wash his eyes out. So that's about it on that. I want to fast forward it, let you know what was going on with that. As you see here, that officer, he's hunched over, collecting himself. His eyes is burning because he got affected with the pepper spray as well. So we're going through all what I just explained, what was going on, and what we're going to is when they catch up with Tyre, okay? We're gonna fast forward all the way to that point.
Mom! Yeah! Give me your hands! Hey, Mike, give me your hands! Give me your hands! Watch out! Hey, give me your hands! Right. Give me your hands, bro! Give me your hands! No!
So at this point, this is, they catch up with Tyre. Now they're in a residential area where the initial interaction happened at two main cross streets and what have you. So now they ran into the residential area. I believe Tyre was trying to get home and what have you. So as you see, he's getting pepper sprayed again, and we witnessed him getting caught in the face with a punch. Let's check that out again.
Give me your hand, bro. Give me your hand. No! Give me your hand. All right, guys, come on, get him over here. All right, battery. Hey. All right. Give me your hand, bro. Give me your hand. 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 Get your hand. Give me your hand. Turn it around. Lay flat. Lay flat, goddamn. All right. Lay flat, goddamn. Lay flat. Lay flat. Lay flat. Lay flat, goddamn. All right. Give me a on the stand fight. Hey, what's this? Give me a watch it. Baton. Hit him. Watch out, mama. Watch out. Give me your hands. Give me your hands. Give me your hands. Are you okay? Where's the casket? Where's the casket?
As you see, they purposely is using this officer who has retreated a little bit, I guess, to catch his breath, or because he got hit with some spray. instead of switching over to one of the officers who's actually in the mix and still delivering blows and stuff. This is where he's getting constantly hit, blows to the head. Did you know that hitting somebody in the head can kill them? I'm sorry, YouTube. Delete them. Please don't do nothing to the channel because I said the K word. Anyway, fast forward a little bit, see where we at in the action. So you just seen that one right there. Now Tyre's handcuffed though. He's under control at this point. He's under control at this point. He's under control at this point. I want you to see that one more time. I'm sorry, but I mean, any hit at this point is a damaging blow, but that officer swung like a bitch. I swear to goodness. Right there, did you catch it? Did you catch it? He's already under control and someone hits him again. Gave him a straight, looked like a straight left. It was right on the button and what have you. So he's under control. Was no reason to continue hitting him. But they still are hitting.
Mike, beat that man.
In this ring. Come on. Together. On the other side.
Okay, I think this is another important scene or piece of the scene right here. Pay attention to what happens with Tyre.
God damn!
Did you see that? They slung him over to his left side. His head hits the concrete, another head blow. I'm not gonna replay that one. If you ain't catch it, play it back on your own and what have you. But did you see that? So he still is receiving damage. He's handcuffed. He's tired. He's out. He's done for. He is done. But yet they still think it's okay to continue to inflict more damage. At a certain point, the argument of using necessary police force to detain the assailant, they've crossed that threshold a minute ago. The minute they got him in handcuffs, technically speaking, the minute they got him in handcuffs, that reasoning, you can't use that reasoning anymore. Now they're just, this is assault at this point. And then what happened to Tyre later on, now this constitutes as, if not second degree, most definitely manslaughter. and they didn't even try for manslaughter. It was second degree, and they got acquitted on it, and what have you. But I mean, if it wasn't second degree, they most definitely couldn't have got away with manslaughter. But it was set up like that. It was set up like that intentionally. Even though it was the prosecuting attorney that was doing that, they was being prosecuted by the state. So you were like, well, they didn't have the protection of the state, and what have you. I've seen it. We've all seen it many a times where they have us our backs against the corner. They give us the highest charge possible, or you can plead to this. Let's fast forward a little bit. That was pretty much it. And you see Tyre, they sit him up against the squad car.
My leg, bro. My knee.
Who opened the door?
I see wiping his face. Hey, he took off running as soon as I seen him wiping his face, bro.
Hold on, where y'all see him?
Right here. He was running through the yard, bro. This why I got
I was
him.
like, I said he ain't. I couldn't see no.
He high. He high as a mug. Hey, sit up, bro. Sit up, man.
And here got string.
So at this point, he's not coherent at all. He's out of it. He's out of it. He's slumped over. He's probably halfway, if not all the way. He's knocked out. He's knocked out. With all the head blows, undefended head blows, punches to his face. Then he got slammed, or he got slung, and his head hit the concrete again. These dudes are so into the fight of it instead of the job of it. They don't get him medical attention in time enough. This dude, Tyre, he's suffering from the damage that he's already taken in, and what have you. So that was one of the things that went on with this case, that they didn't get him medical attention in time enough. Then once he finally got to the hospital, it was too late. So that's just about it for that.
Verdict of guilty. Verdict of guilty or not, but to behave in.
And so now we're about to check out the results of the trial. Let me make sure I got the ownership posted correctly. CBS News. Let me take myself out the mix.
We want to get to breaking news now out of Memphis. A jury has found 3 former police officers charged in the deadly beating of Tyre Nichols not guilty on all 7 state counts. The officers' charges included second-degree murder, aggravated assault, and aggravated kidnapping. Last year, the 3 were among a total of 5 convicted on federal charges, including witness tampering. Police camera footage captured officers kicking and punching Nichols after he fled a January 2023 traffic stop. He died 3 days after the beating. CBS News correspondent Omar Villafranca has been following this case every step of the way. And Omar, remember that video when it came out, just so tremendously disturbing and upsetting. Take us through this decision.
Well, of course, the judge came forward and the court said that the verdict had been reached. So everybody came on in and they filed in. The judge told everyone not to, no outbursts in the court, which is pretty typical in emotional cases like this. And as you mentioned, Tadarius Bean, Demetrius Haley, Justin Smith, all found not guilty. They each faced 7 charges, the big one being second-degree murder. That was punishable by up to 15 to 25 years in prison. Official oppression, aggravated assault, aggravated kidnapping, all those charges that you mentioned, all not guilty. A little background here on this jury, though. This happened in Memphis, Shelby County, near the Arkansas border. That's where Memphis is. Well, during the course of this trial, they were saying we needed to find an impartial jury, so they had to go 300 plus miles to Chattanooga area, Hamilton County, to find that jury. So the jury is not from Memphis. They are from Hamilton County, 300 plus miles away. We found out it is an all-white jury. There were no African Americans on that jury. The jury, and Memphis is a predominantly African American town. So that's something that now people are talking about. A little bit more.
Now, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought you're supposed to be judged by a jury of your peers. These is 3 black men from Memphis getting judged by a jury of all Edomites, 300 miles away in Chattanooga. I mean, that's a kind of a stretch of the definition of peers. And I'm sure you can find 2 or 3 Edomites in Memphis. It's predominantly black. It's not 100%. So you got some salt sprinkled in with some pepper in Memphis based on what they're saying. So you could have squeezed a couple of Edomites out of there and mixed up the jury. This was done on purpose because initially last week when I spoke on this, I thought that these cops wasn't going to get away with it because I know that the rules are different. You know, we can't do the same thing that they do and what have you. But I didn't know that they had an all-white jury. I don't think it would have changed my mind at that time either. But it just made me realize that if it's when they are concerned, they'll choose the blue line. If it's black on black, they'll choose the black that's behind the blue line. So they default to white. They default to the blue line. And most definitely they'll default to white behind the blue line. So they'll default to black behind the blue line, white, no line at all, and then white behind the blue line. So that's what I gathered off of observing what happened in this situation. and what have you. So now if they would have threw some of us in the jury, that would have been different, because I believe that it's in the hood, not in the places where we are experiencing poverty, no jobs, poor education. In areas of like that, I believe that there's a general sentiment, a general negative view towards police, whether they're black, white, Chinese, brown. It doesn't matter. If you got a badge, you're not cool. So, and I don't want to just say that idealism is just in that segment of society. But based on my experience, coming from that demographic, that's the overall sentiment. And you get that a little bit less of as you start moving up in the eco-social classifications, where you got the lower middle class, then you got the middle class. That's when the mindset gives us that are behind the blue line a little more grace. We still don't trust the white behind the blue line, but we'll give us that do wear the badge a little bit more grace, more so than us in the poor demographics. So let's see what's going on. Let's check out what's going on in the chat. We got Highway Skinny, he's in the house. What's going on, Highway Skinny? And we have Mrs. O. She's in the house. Of course she's in the house. Mrs. O. What's going on, Mrs. O? She's reminding everybody to do subscribe, like, share. Mrs. O says, because the officers was talking about he was high. And Mrs. O said they beat the high into him. Yeah, that's why he was slumped out. He was knocked out. He was gone. Probably brain swelling, concussions, and what have you. Mrs. O says the biggest gang is the police. Always have. Absolutely. Absolutely. Let me get out the picture here. Continue on with the video.
Of some perspective here, there was a federal trial before this, and those officers either pled guilty or were found guilty of charges, but they were lesser charges, everything from excessive force with injury and witness tampering. They have not been sentenced for the federal crimes that they were convicted of, so we're going to wait to see. But the families are looking for justice, and now they're not going to get it from the state side. They feel they're going to have to get it from the federal, but we have to see with those lesser charges what kind of sentence comes from that.
Any reaction that you're tracking so far?
It's very early. Some of the family is in there. They were quiet. They weren't allowed, obviously, no outbursts of any sort. But we're waiting to see if they come out and speak. Interesting note that we do have some reporting from Elise Preston also told us that the prosecution brought 5 witnesses forward. The defense brought 17 witnesses. And keep in mind, the burden of proof is on the prosecution to prove their case. That's what they used, 5 witnesses. The defense used 17 witnesses, and maybe that weighed in on the jury. They polled the jury. It was unanimous on their decision making, but unless the jurors want to talk to find out what exactly convinced them, we may never know.
This is a shot inside the courthouse right now that we are watching. There were 2 other officers who did not stand in this trial. Where do they fall in the case?
Mm-hmm. Well, some of them were involved in the federal trial, and some of them also testified in cases too, talking about their action. Now, the defense basically, part of their argument was that everything that they were doing was part of their training. They were saying the whole time that Tyre Nichols, when you saw the video of the beating, they said they kept on asking him to comply.
Yeah, and part of their training was to continue hitting him and slinging him on the concrete after he was finally detained, after he was finally under complete control. Yeah, that's part of the training, I'm sure.
They kept on asking him to comply, give him his hands so they could put him in cuffs. And the defense kept on saying, once the cuffs were on, the beating stopped. Now, there was arguments of prosecution saying this was excessive force. This is what caused it. And
well, we just seen that. 2 hits. One hit to the face when Tyre was standing up, and then they slung him from one side, from him laying from one side, and slung him to the other side, and his head hit the concrete. So that was not true.
And that nobody was stopping anybody else from hitting him. And the prosecution was relying on that, hoping that the jury would see that as enough to reach that bar for second-degree murder. But as we learned just a few minutes ago, it was not. They were not guilty on all charges.
What happens next in this case? What are you tracking?
Well, there's going to be civil, first of all. And granted, there's no jail time for a civil case. This could challenge, obviously, the way Memphis PD operates. And that's no solace. That's not going to bring back Nichols for their family. But we want to see what kind of punishment is going to be handed down on the federal case, which already happened. But again, those officers were convicted on lesser charges. There was no murder charge. Like I said, the charges were excessive force with injury and witness tampering on the federal level, not the second-degree murder that would have gotten 15 to 25 on the state level.
Okay. Omar Villafranca, thank you. Let's bring in CBS News legal contributor Rebecca Roifi now. What is your reaction to this verdict?
I think it's extremely significant, especially given the fact that this federal administration has indicated that it is less interested in pursuing police reform than previous administrations and is backing off those kinds of efforts. So we're going to see fewer of the kinds of cases that settled earlier for these police officers, and more will rest on what states do and what state juries do. And so I think a lot of people are paying attention to this, and it is a significant case because it is not sending the messages that the families of the victim would have wanted here and other activists would have wanted, instead sending a very different message.
Right, he was pulled over, and then later the Memphis police chief found that there was no real reason to pull him over. He had fled the traffic stop, run toward his mother's house.
Okay, so I just pulled something up on ChatGPT as far as the components of second-degree murder. Let me see if I can get this switched over here. And this is where I think they was able to get away with some stuff here. This is where I think they got away with second degree. This component right here. And this is what I was thinking when I was like, I wonder if there's a malice component to second degree. And it is. Malice of forethought without premeditation. This doesn't mean planning ahead. That would be first degree, but it includes intent to kill or cause serious bodily harm or extreme recklessness, showing a depraved indifference to human life. And I think that's where they were able to come to him, to the officers not being guilty, is this component of second degree murder right here. This one was a gray area, malice of forethought. And the prosecution was not able to convince beyond a reasonable doubt that malice of forethought was a component to unlawful killing of a human being. I don't think they had a problem with that per se, because I'm sure they seen the same videos we've seen. He did get hit several times, and that was just one of the officers' cameras that they decided to show on here. I'm sure they seen all of the cameras. So the ones that was in the mix the most, I'm sure they seen all of the blows. And we just seen 2 of them after he was detained, after he was restrained, after he was under their control. So I can see where they had a problem with the unlawful deletion of a human being, because the main component here is unlawful. That's the key word in this. So the argument is we was acting within the training. That's the argument to defend against unlawful. Okay, so they was doing their job. Okay, when video says otherwise, but I think the main thing was the one that tipped the balance was malice of forethought.
In other news tonight, Cincinnati police are sharing
verdict of guilty or not, but to behave in a way that
All right. So these gentlemen just got off with 7 charges at the state level they've been acquitted of. So now they got to deal with what the feds is gonna bring, and typically the feds are way more thorough and 99.9% of the time they don't miss. So hopefully they catch it on that end, which are lesser charges, but that kidnapping charge, that was BS. I think that was just to, make shit look good. I don't know about that one. I don't see how you can ever use that unless the initial stop was unlawful and what have you. But we have to go back and check out what initiated the stop in the first place and what have you, which I do not recall at this time. But however, whatever, I think that was a BS charge. They knew they was not going to be able to, that wasn't going to stick. The only way that was going to stick if they put him in a squad car, took him someplace in between the scene and the police station, and, you know, and did something with him at another location. Then I could see that sticking. Other than that, that was a BS charge. They knew that wasn't going to stick. So, and I believe that it was pretty much set up like this. So, okay, we got to do something. We got to do something. We're going to set it up like this. We're going to put some BS charges in there. We're going to move it to a place where statistically it's shown that, you know, people default to the blue line and what have you. So I think it was all set up that way. I don't think they're going to get away with the federal charges. I was wrong with the state, but hopefully I'm not wrong with that. So hopefully that gets done. Again, these issues with our police, and it happens way too often. I don't believe that, you know, there is a remedy for it. You know, it's going to continue to happen. And there's really no way. They say they you know, initially in your interview process, they do a deep dive in your history and what have you. And supposedly they talk to everybody you put on the list and what have you, past employers, past people you've been involved with. Then some type of psychological evaluation or what have you, in which I've heard that they'll try to provoke you and things of that nature, and say things to you that will make that they'll try to offend you to get a rise out of you. And if you fall for the trap, you know, that's it. But that's as far as it goes or what have you. Obviously, the psychological evaluation is not thorough enough. They're not looking for the right things. They believe that I think they're looking to see how easily you are triggered, and most people can be a chameleon on that. If you, especially if you already know going into the room what you about to face, you are really mentally prepared to be a stone wall and what have you. But I haven't been there, but based on the stories that been told to me, that's pretty much what their psychological eval is about to see how easily you are triggered. All right. So next.
Another news tonight, Cincinnati police are...
We got a tragic story about Ryan Hilton. All right, so we're going to jump right into this story.
Another news tonight, Cincinnati police are sharing body camera video of the moments that led to an officer-involved shooting and killing of a suspect in East Price Hill.
And WLWT News 5's Danielle Dindak has been leading the way on this investigation for us. She's live right now, walking us through the video. Hi, Danielle.
Hi there, Mike. This video is very fast. We're talking about 6 seconds. 6 seconds from the time that officer got out of his vehicle and fired those shots. I do want to warn you, what you're about to watch could be hard to see.
He's got a gun! He's got a gun! On your right! On your right!
In a matter of seconds. It all began with a stolen vehicle, a Kia from Edgewood, Kentucky.
GPS tracking led the investigation here, a condo complex in East Bryce Hill. Officers arrived, and Chief Terry Thiegy explains what happened next.
All 4 individuals get out and start running. Some in different directions. So officers decide which individual they're going to pursue. One officer decides to pursue the individual who we now know had a firearm in his hand.
At some point, the person with the gun slips.
They heard the metal from the firearm hit the concrete. This individual gets up, still has the firearm in his hand, and continues to run through the dumpsters.
The officer who fired the shots was chasing another suspect before he made contact with the armed suspect.
The officer who did discharge his firearm said that when the individual came out between the dumpsters, he had the firearm in front of him. It was in like a bladed position, and it was pointed at the officer. And he felt threatened for his life, and that's why he discharged his firearm.
4 to 5 rounds were fired. The suspect was hit twice. Given medical care,
I don't see a firearm. Of course, you know, this happened very quick. Track it up just a little bit. They just got that still shot right there. I don't see it from the officer's camera angle. So how do the officer sees it from the officer's camera angle? This ain't coming from another camera and the other officer. This is coming from the same officer that deleted the young man. I don't see it. How do he see it? He's running between the dumpsters. In my own personal opinion, once it was said that someone had a gun, officers' guns was already drawn. I believe this officer was startled more so than anything else when this young man ran between the dumpsters. Already having in his head that there's a threat out there that someone has a gun, and he did what he did. So I have a little education in pre-law. I have a criminal justice degree. Okay, so it's been a long time since I looked at anything, but I do recall one thing, and this is why they use, "Hey, he has a gun." We're gonna go back to Chat GPT. Take myself out the picture. And this is what we have to understand, people. This is why they get away with a lot of what they get away with. In the U.S., the police officer may shoot at an unarmed assailant running away only under specific legal circumstances. Shoot at an armed assailant. Running away means back facing towards the officer, only under specific circumstances. The key legal standard comes from the Supreme Court case, Tennessee versus Garner. Use of deadly force on a fleeing subject. It is unconstitutional for police to use deadly force against a fleeing suspect unless the suspect poses a significant threat of death or serious physical injury to the officer or, and this is the key word right here, others. And the officer has probable cause to believe the suspect poses that ongoing threat, ongoing, even while fleeing. Excuse me. If the person is running away with a visible weapon, an officer reasonably believes that they may use the weapon against others or turn and shoot at pursuing officers, then deadly force may be justified. This is why they're able to get away with this time and time again. And we have to get this understanding as a community, because we forever marching down streets and shit and what have you, and no justice, no peace in every goddamn time and what have you. When one of our people is fleeing the police after committing a violent crime and or having a weapon in their hand, and the police knowing that they're armed or have reasonable suspicion that they could be still armed. Now, it says that department policies can be stricter than federal law. So departments can impose stricter policies. That's like, for example, in Michigan with the OSHA laws. You have federal OSHA, then you got my OSHA. My OSHA, let's, for example, digging a ditch. Federal law says you need to have a ladder to at least reach the level of the street. My OSHA may say your ladder needs to extend the level of the street. All fine and dandy. That's the difference. But when the crap hits the fan, they're gonna fall back to the bare bones, the minimum, in order to get around liability. Officers still act with reasonableness, consider all facts and alternatives. Body cam footage, witness statements, and ballistic evidence are key in evaluating such cases. So we have to understand that anytime that our people are involved in a violent crime, whether there's a weapon involved or not, and you are fleeing, and you just got through hurting someone or deleting someone, or you're, let's say, police roll up on you, y'all all jump out the car and scatter like they did in this situation, and a cop says, they got a gun. Everybody pulling their weapons, and if one of the cops gets surprised, like this one did from the young man jumping from between the dumpsters, then this is typically the result. So I understand the frustration. And and everybody says, well, they running away. They back is towards you. Officers, law enforcement are not under the same restrictions as a civilian with a CPL.
Medical care right away and died. Thije says this is the gun the suspect had.
And the main reason why that is because officers have a duty not only to protect themselves, but to protect others surrounding the area. So officers are able to be in the offensive. As a civilian with a CPL, you can only act in the defensive to preserve your life or the lives that you are accompanied with at that time, or the lives in your address. So that's why that's where the difference is between a civilian and an officer. Officers can act on the offensive to protect the public. This is the reasoning. I'm not making excuses. I'm telling you, this is the reasoning that they use to get out of shit. They've created these laws so they don't have to be, they're not subjected to the same shit that a civilian is. That's just what it is. Get it through your thick skulls. Stop playing games with these people. They got everything covered.
A semi-automatic with an extended magazine, with another magazine in his pocket.
Let me be very direct. We cannot allow individuals to flee from officers with a loaded firearm aimed at them. When this happens, the outcome is almost always tragic.
Police also told us that a stolen gun was found inside that stolen Kia. At this time, we still do not have the identity of the person who was shot and killed. All police could tell us is that he was approximately 18 years old. Reporting live in East Price Hill tonight, Danielle Dindak, WLWT News 5.
So that was very unfortunate, what happened to that young man. So something happened, his father, in response to that, let's see, form of God, we got the police. Well, let's check out this right here.
More breaking news coverage on the state trial for 3 former Memphis police officers accused of beating Tyre Nichols to death. A verdict coming down from the jury a little more than an hour ago, finding Demetrius Haley, Tadarius Bean, and Justin.
Well, this is going back. Okay, I didn't want to miss this part of it, and I apologize for not having it in line correctly. But it was something about, because this one had the title of this is Activists React to the Verdict of the Ex-Officers on Trial, going back to Tyre Nichols. Let's just jump back a little bit, okay? And I'm gonna fast forward all this good stuff, because this is one thing that really is interesting. Right here, the activists.
Earlier this afternoon.
Well, as usual, we're still going to be fighting for justice. Justice and equality in this day and time in this United States of America is just not happening. And for me to sit up here and try to do this interview is pretty rough on me. and the family as well. But at this point, we got to live with this decision and let it be, because the court has decided.
Well, if you ask me, he said absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. He said absolutely nothing. And this is why I wanted to bring this out right quick. And what have you. See, a lot of the problem is that we as a people keep believing in a system that has never benefited us. We haven't had equal anything since we've been on this side of the pond. Oh, you think things change because now you're not you're not getting your ass whipped to pick cotton or take care of tobacco fields and things of that nature, because now they pay you for your labor, in which they turn around and take a roundabout figure, a total roundabout figure of 28% of your money before you get any of it. And that's before deductions for medical care and dental and vision. If you're fortunate to have what they call full benefits. Part of the problem is we keep believing in this nation. That's why that man didn't have anything to say. He said absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. Woe to the rebellious children, saith the Lord, that take counsel, but not of me, that take cover with a covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin. You constantly coming back to this nation, time and time again, asking, can you give me my reparations? You know, justice and your peace. I want my equal rights. I want to vote. I want to vote on people that don't have no interest in me. Yes, I am running for the United States of America, and I vow to increase jobs for all minorities. And we were like, oh, they said us. No, minorities mean everybody but white. And you at the bottom of the minority list. Isaiah 30:1, Isaiah 30:2, that walked down into Egypt and have not asked at my mouth to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh and to trust in the shadow of Egypt. You trust this place, which is spiritual Egypt. You don't believe this place is spiritual Egypt? Look at the back of your dollar bill. What you see, the IRA? Look at all the pagan holidays you celebrate. Look at all the monuments, Egyptian monuments that's around this country. One main one is in Washington, D.C., the obelisk. And this is Isaiah. This is after Egypt. So this is prophetic. This is after the physical captivity in Egypt. Lamentations 4:17. For us, our eyes yet fail for our vain help in watching. We have watched for a nation that could not save us. But you know, I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just old racist, crazy ass Israelite, you know, that's under cult beliefs and shit and what have you. And you know, someday we will overcome. Okay. Good luck with that. Hope it work out for you. We had jumped into Rodney Hilton, and I still had some material on Tyre. So the next step, one of the next steps in Tyre, I'm not gonna play the videos, I'm just gonna get into it right quick, is that they still have that federal case and they have a civil suit. Civil suit against the police officers and against the police department and against the city of Memphis. So we got two more layers of litigation to go through and to see if these men come out totally unscathed. I hope not. I hope the next two hurdles that they try and get over, they fail. So now we can get all the way into Ryan Hilton and his father. So after Ryan Hilton was deleted by Cincinnati police, we already seen
this family.
So this is the 18-year-old that was deleted by Cincinnati police. This is his family and the attorney. So let's check out what's going on in this.
Attorney Robert Gresham, attorney Anthony Pearson. I'm going to introduce mom, who is Tori Jackson, grandma, which is Tanya Larkin, and dad, which is Rodney Hinton Jr., grandfather, excuse me. We're here because we represent the estate of Ryan. We're not here to talk about the incident that occurred with the police officer. We do offer our condolences to the officer and his family, but we were hired to represent this family to investigate the police-involved shooting of their son, Ryan. This family is very upset about what occurred. Kind of walking you through what happened is on Friday morning, we met with the police chief of Cincinnati, and we viewed the body cam video of what happened with the police-involved shooting with Ryan. We stayed at the chief's office for about an hour and a half, and what we saw was disturbing. The family was upset, as you can imagine, watching your son, watching your grandson, watching your loved one getting shot and killed by the police was upsetting to this family. We left out of the police chief's office, and a few hours later, I was made aware that Rodney had an incident with a police officer that resulted in the officer's death. But again, we are here because we represent the estate and the police-involved shooting. We're trying to get the family some answers as it relates to what happened with that shooting. We're not here at this point to make any specific allegations, to make any specific determinations as it relates to that police-involved shooting. We are here and we're retained to investigate that shooting. So we'll take any questions.
How will that proceed? What will that look like? Will you be reviewing the body camera footage frame by frame, or talking about the process?
Absolutely. we only saw one angle. We only saw, I believe it was the shooter's body cam. So we requested the records, we requested all the other body cams, we requested the reports, we did the ordinary public records request so that we can really analyze what occurred. I mean, what we saw in the video, it's hard to determine whether or not that officer was in imminent danger or should have thought that they were in imminent danger before they took shots. So we are specific.
And this is what kind of irritates me, because this lawyer knows damn well the law. These dudes come in because of the perception or the ignorance of the general public, not knowing what I just brought out about a fleeing assailant. These dudes come in and take these folks' money. Now, if he's doing it pro bono, he might have a different motive. But if he's taking these folks' money, everybody in law knows that police, once it's known that you have committed a violent crime, and or once it's known that you have a weapon, you can end up getting murdered. They have more times than not, they have enough substantial information, enough substantial facts to back up their action, to suggest that there was probable cause that you could be in a danger to the officer and or the surrounding public that you're fleeing into. And everybody know this. So everybody in law know this. All the lawyers know this. Cops know this. That's why they keep doing it. You don't know this. That's why you keep reacting to this shit. You don't know this. That's why you keep putting yourself in these situations thinking, I'm running away, I shouldn't get popped. It's enough situations where those elements weren't involved and we still got popped. You don't think you getting popped if one or more of those elements are involved? Oh, your chances of getting popped go up 200-300%. Just like the chief said, almost every time we have this situation, it ends like this. Y'all gotta get it together. And for those who know and don't educate the ones around them, like I'm doing right now, this is what you are your brother and sister's keeper. This is what this entails. I don't even have a law degree. It should be us that do have some type of podcast or what have you, have something set up where they're educating us as a community. Hey, look, this is what's in play. If you do this, that, and the third, they can use this, that, and the third, and you're going to get this, that, and the third. And they're going to get away with this, that, and the third. So we can stop having this superficial BS walking up and down streets and shit. No justice, no peace, and all that carrying on and crap that don't mean a hill of beans.
Specifically investigating, that part of this entire tragic situation.
Mr. Wright, to the person who says Ryan was in a stolen car, had a firearm, according to detectives, and this is what happened, what do you say to that person?
That's correct, but being in a stolen car, having a firearm, firearms, we're in Ohio, so you can open carry in Ohio. So that's not a death penalty.
This lawyer getting on my fucking nerve. Once you enter a vehicle, that's not open carry anymore. That's concealed. In Michigan, if you do not have a CPL and you have a pistol in the vehicle, the pistol must be locked in a box, and the ammunition needs to be separate from the pistol. So either the pistol's in the trunk and the ammunition is up front with you or in the back seat, or vice versa. And you can only go to or from the gun range, or if you're required to have your pistol inspected and what have you, which I in the early 2000s, Detroit required that. I don't know where I'm at now, the suburb that I'm in now, they don't require pistol inspections and what have you. So I don't know if that's still a thing or not. But if that is a thing, that's the only time you can transport your gun is to the range, and straight to the range and straight back to the house, or straight to the police station and straight back to the house for inspection if you do not have a CPL. Yes, you can open carry on your person, but the minute you put your person inside something, that's no longer open carry. And this lawyer knows that. That's why he's getting on my nerves, man. I hope he ain't taking these people's money. I really hope not.
Being in a stolen car, having a gun, that doesn't mean that you should be shot and killed.
Just to be clear, are you disputing any of the comments we've heard from the chief, any of the facts that she laid out in that press conference?
Well, I'm not familiar specifically of what facts you are indicating. However, we believe that this incident should be investigated. It's not as cut and dry as this officer should have just pulled out his gun and shot at Ryan. It's not that cut and dry. So that's why we're doing the records request. We're going to analyze frame by frame each one of these videos to determine why the officer made that deadly decision to shoot and kill Ryan.
The only thing we've heard so far about Ryan.
And so what initiated the interaction is that Ryan and some other young men were sitting in a stolen car, a car that was stolen from Kentucky. Kentucky is right across the Ohio River from Cincinnati. So in that area, there's a lot of interaction between Cincinnati and northern Kentucky right there, okay? So there's a lot of state crossing going on right there. So the Cincinnati hoodlums go over to Kentucky and take their cars, then come back to Cincinnati and joyride, thinking that they got some leeway, some time, you know, because they got it out of Kentucky, not knowing that the police departments know that they live, that not thinking that the police departments don't know that they don't live close to next door to one another, and so they shouldn't collaborate and cooperate with one another on anything. So what happened after this young man lost his life? His father decided to do something. Change the video owner on here.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much for your patience in waiting. We've had a very difficult week, as you can imagine. Today we did present the case against Rodney Hinton Jr. to the grand jury. And during this press conference, I'm certainly going to describe the facts as we know them today and what led us to select the charges that we presented to the grand jury, as well as what their verdict was. So, Deputy Larry Henderson. I did reach out to Mrs. Henderson after we got the news of the grand jury. I wasn't able to reach her personally, so I unfortunately had to leave a message on her phone, and that is the most difficult message you can leave for someone on their phone. I also offer my sympathy to the Sheriff's Department and the entire law enforcement world here in this community. I know they're all grieving. I know all of you have questions about the police-involved shooting from May 1st. Our office is still investigating that, as we do in all officer-involved shootings. And so since that review is not done, I won't be commenting on it or taking any questions on it. Nor will I be discussing the three suspects who allegedly were in the vehicle that started this chain of events. This today is about Deputy Henderson, and the visitation is going on right now, and his funeral is tomorrow. And so it's only proper and apt that we focus on the tragic death. Oh, and wait, we'll stay here, not ready. So on May 2nd, 2025, Sheriff's Deputy Larry Henderson was working a traffic light. This was a detail to help manage traffic flow due to the congestion related to the commencement at the University of Cincinnati. The deputy had retired from his full-time career with the Hamilton County Sheriff. He did that a few months ago, but he still continued to serve by picking up occasional details when extra help is needed. And on May 2nd, he chose to accept a special detail to help direct traffic caused by UC's graduation. He was in uniform. He was wearing a bright traffic vest, a reflective vest. He was serving the community. But in an act of tragic proportion, his life ended. And I'm going to walk you through the series of events that led to this deputy's sad death. We can go to the next slide. All right. This is the result of the grand jury. I'm giving you this first because I know you all have deadlines. He was indicted today on 2 counts of aggravated murder. Both carry a death specification. 1 count of felony murder and 2 counts of felonious assault. Next slide, please. I'm going to go through the chain of events that led up to this tragedy. So at 9:30, I'm just going to step away and point to the map. Here and here. So at the bottom left of the slide, this is where Rodney Hinton Jr., along with his family, they went to the Cincinnati Police Department to meet with the chief, and the police had decided to show them the body cam footage involving the death of his son, Ryan Hinton. They meet with the chief there. At 9:51 a.m., Hinton, and when I say Hinton, henceforth, that means Rodney Hinton Jr., the defendant herein. Mr. Hinton was so upset, he left the building. At 10:37, so almost 50 minutes later, the family that was with him comes out of the building and they all leave in one car. Mr. Hinton left his vehicle there because he was upset. The family drives him up to Findlay Market, where they suggest he gets something to eat, and he declined. After that, they go to the home of a family member. Mr. Hinton takes a 30-minute nap. By 12:41, the family decided that they could return him to the police station, lower left part of the slide, where he can retrieve his vehicle. And at 10:44, Hinton drives out of the parking lot, but his family follows him. Hinton drives back to the police department and drives through the parking lot. His family is still following him. At 12:50, he leaves, drives up Clifton Avenue. His family is still following him. Turns onto Martin Luther King Drive. Family members still follow. There's a lot of traffic and congestion. Hinton pulls into the right lane. You're right by campus there. And at 1:05 p.m., Deputy Henderson is hit. Now we're going to walk through the last tragic seconds with the next slide. So this is a street view where you see the intersection. This is the stop line that's painted there where people have to stop. This is the unused middle lane, which up here is designated as a left turn only lane. These little plastic things are called delineators. They're just there to keep people from swerving into oncoming traffic. Here, this light pole, that's where Deputy Henderson was standing. A lot of the traffic enforcement people say that's a prime spot to stand because it has a tree for shade, and if it's hot, you get a little shade. And also, it's on a concrete triangle, so you're not in the road. So it's considered a pretty safe place to stand. And that's where he was standing. He was working a traffic light indicator to help ease congestion. And this photo does show it a little bit, but everything's on a hill near the University of Cincinnati, and this road is no different. We're looking down the hill. All right, next slide, please. So this is the aerial view, and I just want to show a couple things to you. So I pointed out this unused lane in the middle. You can see it all across Martin Luther King Drive. And you can also see if you, I think you're all going to get a packet of these, but you can see that where the left turn lane is here. And you might be able to ascertain where those plastic delineators are. So we know that Rodney Hinton turned onto Martin Luther King Jr. Drive. Initially, he pulled into the right lane. Family was still behind him. Then he pulls into the left lane. And then he stopped in that center unused lane. And I'm sorry, I don't have that exact location for you. But as he moves on up, he's just waiting there. Pardon me. He waits there. There's no place to turn. There's no signal there. He's just in that unused lane. Because he was up a little bit of a hill, he was at a higher elevation, and he could look down and see what was going on in front of him, and he could see Deputy Henderson working that traffic light. At 1:05 p.m., Hinton floors the vehicle, crossing into the opposing traffic lanes, and drives directly at Deputy Henderson and hitting him.
And that's where we're going to stop this press conference. There's some information out in the YouTube world where they say that Rodney Hilton Jr. was being driven. He did not drive. Before we get into the statements of his attorney, I just want to remind everyone that these people have cameras at their police department. So they watch Mr. Hilton Jr. enter into his vehicle on the driver's side. This happened at a college, and the college was in that area. Doing traffic control over there, So you can strongly assume there's cameras on those buildings. So I can just, you can strongly assume that the videos was pulled from the video cameras that were attached to those buildings and any cameras that were attached to that intersection. And then I'm gonna drop the mic. We're gonna go to the no bond hearing.
The man accused of intentionally mowing down retired Hamilton County Deputy Larry Henderson and killing him is denied bond. Rodney Hinton Jr. is charged with aggravated murder in the death of Deputy Larry Henderson. Then this happened on Friday, and Cincinnati police say that Hinton was distraught after viewing body cam footage of his son's death at the hands of one of their officers on Thursday. We do have live team coverage of these events inside and outside the courtroom. We want to begin today with Local 12's Morella Porter. Morella, good afternoon to you.
Yeah, good afternoon, Liz. It was incredibly tense inside of the courtroom. Hamilton County Sheriff Charmaine McGuffey, her deputies, and Cincinnati police officers filled the courtroom in force for Rodney Hinton's bond hearing. Take a look at this video from inside of the courtroom. When Hinton walked up to the podium in front of the judge, his brother refused to sit down, resulting in chaos when an officer tugged on his shirt to get him to listen. Hinton was briefly escorted out as his brother was taken out of the gallery. Once the hearing got started, an investigator laid out the evidence against Hinton, explaining how he was so distraught after seeing body cam video of his son being killed that his family drove him home because they were concerned about him. Hinton is accused of deliberately mowing down Deputy Larry Henderson with his car after picking it up around 12:40 in the afternoon at CPD's parking lot Friday. Within 20 minutes, Deputy Henderson was run over as he directed traffic for UC's graduation. Prosecutors believe Henderson was the first law enforcement officer Hinton saw, and that's why he was targeted. The investigator says a street camera and video captured from a bus in the area, along with witness testimony, showed Hinton park in a median and angle his car at Henderson before accelerating and running him over. Hinton's attorney, Clyde Bennett, said Hinton was not in the right mental state at the time.
The weight of the evidence, the nature and circumstances of the offense charged as being an offense of violence, the defendant's mental condition, and the nature and seriousness of his danger to police officers and others in the community strongly suggest that denying bond is both in the interest of the community and in the interest of the defendant.
I want to make certain that this young man is treated as a mentally ill person and not as a cop killer. I don't think he was a cop killer. I think he was not in his right mind. And I think he should be treated like any other mentally ill person.
Now, his defense attorney, Clyde Bennett, says he plans to order a competency evaluation for Hinton. For now, live at the Justice Center, Morella Porter, Local 12 News.
So right there, you see his attorney is already leaning towards using the insanity or mental illness defense. We got another
coming on the air here.
Video here. I think this is from the observant room, which was isolated from the actual courtroom. Let's check it out. Let me change the owner on this.
With breaking news, the man accused of intentionally hitting and killing retired Hamilton County Deputy Larry Henderson is about to appear in court. I'm Stephen Albritton.
And I'm Megan Mitchell. 38-year-old Rodney Hinton Jr. faces charges of aggravated murder. Prosecutors say this was an act of retaliation after Hinton Jr.'s son was shot and killed by a Cincinnati police officer.
This morning's hearing will determine if Hinton Jr. can be held without bond. The judge has just sat down in the seats. Let's listen in live as the hearing is set to begin momentarily.
And Rule 12 of the Rules of Superintendents of
This is where Rodney Hilton Jr.'s brother
Okay, so we are going to come back to the desk here. We're going to keep watching what's happening, but at the commotion, it sounded like the man who stood up there, it sounded like he said he was the brother of Rodney Hilton.
the press that No witness or victim who objects to being recorded. You can't record those persons, but I think you know that, right? So that would be the order, and thank you for filling those out. You wouldn't normally do it, but because of the nature of this case and the high public profile, this is what we're doing. Under the rules of give orders of me granting to the court, I will ask her to mark them as the court's Exhibit 1 and to maintain them for the record going forward. Is everyone ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Is there a case that's going to be called?
Your Honor, Rodney Hinton.
Thank you. Mr. Bennett, at the prior hearing before today.
Have a seat. Have a seat.
Have a seat, sir.
Sit down. That's my brother.
No, let it go. Get him out, let it go.
At this point, Rodney Hinton Jr. is being escorted back out of the courtroom and he stares down the officers as he crosses them and what have you. One of the officers I saw, they was a couple of them was they had heat for him as well. So the brother didn't make anything any better for himself or Rodney. He got quickly escorted out of the courtroom. Just wanted to show you how that went down. Now we're going to go over to...
All right. Peace and blessings. Peace and blessings.
This young man's podcast, and where there's some information out there that says that, it's a different side to the story. This content creator, his page is called Taylor House Publishings. His name is up there, Mr. Richard Taylor. Shouts out to you. All right, so let's check out what's going on in here.
Blessings, all praises to the Most High. And we're going to skip the preliminaries, this videos, and get right into the proceedings.
And so what he has is a post.
And she is the eyewitness who saw it. You see her reply. I promise to God, I made a post, and everything the man was unconscious in the passenger seat, and it was an older lady driving. They kept asking who the driver was. She kept hysterically crying and falling out like she was in shock. She did that. They are trying to do that man in. I literally tried to get him out the car. He was stuck and not clean out, airbags out and all. And I'm going to show you another couple of posts from that same Facebook thread. Now, remember last week I told you that I received some inside information from a couple of sources that said there was a lady driving that vehicle that killed the deputy in Cincinnati after Rodney Hinton Jr. left the police department. Now, this post also pokes holes in the DAs, the police.
So based off this post, there's a witness there that has a different side to the story. One moment.
So ahead of the indictment, I sat down for a one-on-one interview with.
I think I had another video from him. That may have been it. Okay, so one moment, real quick. Let me hop on and communicate something right quick. All right, one moment. All right. All right. All right. So, over at, let me get that individual Taylor's stuff back up here. Yeah, Taylor House Publishing. So they was bringing out that based on a post off of something that he enlisted or initiated. One of the responses was someone who claimed that they was there, but I mean, I'm not gonna say that. What I'm gonna reiterate what I expressed earlier. The police have video footage at the police station, at the intersection, on a bus, of Mr. Rodney Hilton directing the vehicle. In addition, if that statement had any weight, in my opinion, I will believe that the lawyer would have based, if not part, all of his argument that would be more substantial than mental illness in this situation, or it could complement that. But more so, because mental illness wouldn't even be a variable, wouldn't even be a component in this, okay? Because someone else is in the driver's seat. If that was true, then the argument would be he wasn't the driver. But the lawyer is not basing his argument, is not basing his defense on Mr. Rodney Jr., Mr. Rodney Hilton Jr. not being in the driver's seat. His defense is based on mental illness, which still places Mr. Rodney Hilton in control of that vehicle. And then I'm gonna leave it at that. So when you hear different or opposing or alternate information, take the time out to use just don't take it as face value. Think about it, meditate on it. Chew it around, chew the cud a little bit, okay? Everything is not a conspiracy, you know what I'm saying? Everything is not a cover up and what have you, and then I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna leave it at that. But I appreciate Taylor House Publishing for his work and what he's trying to do on that side of the fence and what have you. It's always good to have some different eyes on subject matters and what have you. Okay, and I'll leave it at that because I'm not on here to devalue anybody else's content. I'm on. That's not what we do on this side of the fence. What we do on this side of the fence is we look at everything objectively. We use, since I'm the life journeyman, I use life experience. I use the scriptures, and that's the basis of my wisdom. Okay, and that's where we draw our conclusions from. All right. And so we look at the facts, we look at life experience, and we use the scriptures on this side of the fence. We don't put down nobody else's content. So we're gonna take let's see here. I'm gonna pull this up. So I want to check this out here. Check this out here right quick. Change the video owner on here right quick. Bear with me, good people. Gotta make sure folks don't complain on the channel. Fox 19 is the owner. All right, let's go.
So ahead of the indictment, I sat down for a one-on-one interview with Hinton's defense attorney, Clyde Bennett. We talked about everything from the deadly shooting of Hinton's son and his mental state at the time of the deadly crash to Bennett taking him on as a client. What was going on with him when he was behind the wheel? Is it your contention that, do you admit that he was behind the wheel? Because officers said that he was behind the wheel. There's video of him behind the wheel, and that they took him out and in fact triple checked to make sure that he was the one that was behind the wheel.
Based on my acquaintance with this case, it appears that he was a person that was driving a car.
Okay.
His own attorney says, based on the facts that were presented, it's in my opinion that he was driving the car. Case closed on that.
Okay.
Yes.
In mental capacity, where was he?
He was out of his mind. He was not in his right mind. Let me spell that out. That means that I'm doing something, but I don't know the wrongfulness of what I'm doing because I'm out of touch with reality. That's what insanity is. You can be insane and still present like a physically normal person.
Or you do know the consequence. You do know what you're about to do is wrong, but the rage is so intense that instant, quick fit of rage overwhelms you. That demon enters you, and you get this idea that pops up in your head, and that rage comes in, and you do what you do. A fit of rage. You know, people get off on deleting cases, murder cases, when they're deleting their spouse, when catching them in the act of adultery and things of that nature. People have gotten off. They have beat their case based on that because it's a fit of rage. You know what I'm saying? A crime of passion. That's another term that they use, a crime of passion. This is a crime of passion. His son was deleted. And then, you know, you have some information on the internet on that says, well, that says this is revenge, an eye for an eye. And I just think revenge wasn't in his mind. It was the uniform. The uniform. True revenge would have been getting that officer back or one of his family members. That would be a revenge. So, and then premeditation, the premeditation component would have played a major role in that. So it is strong evidence that this man was instantly consumed by a fit of rage and committed a crime of passion. Depending on how this lawyer sets everything up, depending on what the jury looks like, well, sometimes you want just the judge to take the case, and sometimes you want the jury to take the case. If he can get majority us in that, he has a decent chance with a jury. I believe this might be better if he goes without a jury. Sometimes, because common folk don't think on the same way trained people in certain fields, look at stuff and what have you. I strongly believe he'll have a better chance if he just has the judge look at the case. And then you can kind of, if need be, change venues or what have you to get you a better chance at a judge that considers certain stuff and what have you. Because when you deal with the jury, you're mostly trying to sway emotions. You know what I'm saying? You're mostly trying to sway emotions. When you have a judge doing the verdict, is more so you have the objective observation of what's going on. So I don't know. I don't know. I can see the positive and negatives with using the jury and using the judge. I just don't think Rodney Harris Jr. is going to get a real fair shake at this and what have you. And if it looks like it's not going to happen for him, he might have to plead down. But they're going to go for it. If he and then the lawyer also expressed that he has a history of mental illness and what have you, which means there's been evaluations, there's been sessions, possibly medication involved, and what have you, to help substantiate the mental state defense and what have you. So it's somewhat of an uphill battle, uphill climb. But being how juries work, which I've been on a jury once, we did look at the definition. However, this jury was mixed and what have you. And for the most part, the definitions of the charges were closely examined. And I believe we came up with the correct verdict. But I do not believe that happens most of the time. I believe most of the time a more subjective component is in play than an objective component. I do believe that Mr. Rodney Hilton had a fit of rage because of how it went. And that's unfortunate that not only do we lose a son, we potentially are about to lose a father and possibly a father to other children. So this is a big hole that's been created in our community once again of black men. We are past the 2-hour mark. I do not like to have a long show. I like to keep it around 2 hours. I had a lot of material to unpack. We're gonna go ahead and do Snatch Shenanigans. I wanted to go over the cop. Let's do the cop right quick. The cop in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Let's just go over his stuff right quick. change the ownership of this. Let me get myself off of the screen. We finally got some activity going on in the chat. I'm gonna go ahead and pause and say what's up to everybody that fell in right quick. Once I get this ownership changed up here right quick. Let's see here. Got Fox 17. WXM. And all my life journeymen and journeywomen, you know what I'm saying? Please feel free to drop a comment, you know, get that algorithm going, you know what I'm saying? Contribute to the conversation. Contribute to the conversation. You know, everybody else got their community. You got the Beano Nation, you know, over there with Angry Man, you know. You got your Crimson Knights over there with the Crimson Cure, you know what I'm saying? So over on this side of the fence, you got your journeymen and your journey women, you know, life journeymen and life journey women. You know, that a journeyman is someone who has been through the training and what have you, and has proven proficiency in their trade. And if you've lived life as long as I have and better, that qualifies you as a journeyman and a journeywoman. And what have you. You've learned something from your journey in life, and you've made adjustments. So now you're using wisdom. You are a journeyman and a journeywoman. All right, so that's my community. That's my community, the journey. So we're gonna go ahead and let's see the judge. Let's check out this thing over here in Grand Rapids right quick. And then we're gonna go into the latter half of the show. All right, let's go.
All rise, please. Circuit Court for the County of Kent is now in session. Honorable Christina Mims presiding.
Thank you. You may be seated. And we're going back on the record in 2210260 FC, People versus Sure. All parties are present. And I did receive communication from the jury that they're unable to reach a decision. I am going to have them come in to the courtroom to verify that, and we'll proceed from there. Anything you want to address on the record before that happens, Mr. Becker?
Let me, Your Honor.
Mr. Borbula?
I asked briefly, Your Honor, just following up on some communications we had with the court regarding, I understand the court's going to declare on this trial. I asked the court if it would consider Michigan Court Rule 6.420 that relates to if the defendant is charged with 2 or more counts. The court may inquire the
So basically, this cop, for the moment, has gotten off from his charges in regards to deleting one of us once again during a traffic stop, in which it ended up being a wrestling over a taser gun. I want to find the video footage of when this happened. Hold on.
Now to our other top story at 5. Witnesses testifying in the trial of a former Grand Rapids police officer, Christopher Schur.
Schur shot and killed Patrick Lyoya in the head in a struggle during a traffic stop over 3 years ago. He has been charged with second-degree murder.
And our Mike Duffy has been following this case closely. And Mike, the disturbing video we've seen of this incident is hard to forget.
That's right, Whitney and Simon. Now, taking the stand today was Wayne Butler, an eyewitness to that fatal struggle between Schur and Lyoya, taking place right in his front yard while he was getting ready for work. Butler says that he quickly got dressed and ran down as the struggle had just started, thinking he might be able to de-escalate the situation. He described the scene as horrific and as a traumatic experience. Butler described it as like a wrestling match and testified he tried to reason with Lyoya. That's right, Whitney and Simon. Now, taking the stand today was Wayne Butler, an eyewitness to that fatal struggle between Schur and Lyoya, taking place right in his front yard while he was getting ready for work. Butler says
Now to our other top story at 5. Witnesses testifying in the trial of a former Grand Rapids police officer, Christopher Schur.
Schur shot and killed Patrick Lyoya in the head in a struggle during a traffic stop over 3 years ago. He has been charged with second-degree murder.
And our Mike Duffy has been following this case closely. And Mike, the disturbing video we've seen of this incident is hard to forget.
That's right, Whitney and Simon. Now, taking the stand today was Wayne Butler, an eyewitness to that fatal struggle between Schur and Lyoya, taking place right in his front yard while he was getting.
A Michigan police officer is charged with second-degree murder for the shooting death of 26-year-old Patrick Lyoya. Prosecutors say Grand Rapids officer Christopher Schur shot Lyoya in the head while he was on the ground during a chaotic traffic stop in April. Schur says while they were struggling, Lyoya took his taser. Schur's attorneys say he feared for his safety, and that's why he fired his weapon.
Just so you know, Kate had a baby and a dad.
In April of 2000.
Jim, behind your back.
Okay? Come on, bro. I can't down for your own safety, man. Okay? Come on.
Yo, Pat, Jojo, you good. Yo.
Put your hands behind your back.
Don't grab him like that, though.
I know, but I'm just saying, man. I'm a black man, too. I don't.
Yeah.
Man, come on, man. You do what you say.
1915. Start with some more cars.
Okay.
No, he said he's good, but man, yo, what's up, man?
No, just want nobody to get no work. Man, get the key.
Stop.
Okay.
Stop resisting.
Get the key.
No, he good. He not resisting nothing, bro.
Yo, come on, man. Get the key. Come on, man. Y'all don't. Come on, man. What did you do? Come on.
Okay, why you gotta do all that, bro? He good, man.
Let go of the taser. Let go of the taser.
No, like he good. Like you can talk to him, bro. Yeah, yeah. Like he good, bro. Like, can you talk to him like good? Like, can you? Yeah. Stop grabbing him like that.
No.
No, he good like for real. Yo, you hit him too. Hit that shit, bro.
Let go of the taser.
No, he ain't got no taser. I see that.
Let go of the taser.
6010, how many cars you got going?
Drop taser.
Everyone.
Get back.
And based off of that, the officer said that he was in fear for his life because Patrick Leoya wouldn't let go of the taser. Wow. Now, the taser was already discharged. And if you know anything about the tasers that the police carry, once it's discharged, they only have one cartridge per use. You can't reuse it over and over again. It doesn't have rapid fire or continuous fire or multiple fire like a pistol. One cartridge, you pull the trigger, you have to put another cartridge in. Once it's used, it's used. And the officer said he was in fear of his life. How are you in fear of your life when a taser is a non-lethal weapon? That's why they give y'all tasers, so y'all can have a choice to use non-lethal or lethal. You was losing the wrestling match. He was getting control of the taser. And instead of taking an L or using other means or letting him run to where he wanted to run to, get your backup, and then, you know what I'm saying, do your job from that point. Because all he was going to do, because he had went to his house or near his house. So all he wanted to do was get in his house. Let him get in his house. And then you get back up and the squad and what have you, and then y'all do your job from that point. You took the easy route because you was getting the L. You lost the wrestling match. You lost the wrestling match. That was pretty rough to look at. That was pretty rough to look at. Did he shoot him in the... Yes, ma'am. A-Team. A-Team is in the house, y'all. Yeah. A-Team. Welcome back, A-Team. Good to see you. All praises to you. Yeah, he did. I'm not gonna replay it. That's pretty rough to look at. Yes, he did. You saw it for yourself. Officer just lost the wrestling match over the taser, a taser that was already used. He just wanted to get the taser off of him again. Off of him. So he wouldn't use it again. Or maybe I'm wrong. Either way, he just wanted to get the taser off of him. And, well, I guess we really don't know if he was going to use it or not, if the taser was still charged or not, or had a charge or a charge in it. I strongly believe I heard the taser used. I heard a electrifying sound and what have you. And then they just started wrestling over the apparatus that had absolutely no use because there was nothing, there wasn't another charge placed in it. Once you use it, you have to reload it. And that's a process. Not a long process, but it's long enough when you're in the heat of the battle. So it was a mistrial. So he's off of it for right now. He got off of it for right now, in fear of his life. Sounds like he was in embarrassed of the loss that he got over the wrestling match. Yes, ma'am. So now we about to go into the latter part of the show. But before we do that, Mrs. O has something to say. Miss O, go ahead and do your thing.
Shalom, family. This is Mrs. O. Thank you for joining our channel. If you enjoy our content, please like, share, comment, and subscribe to our channel. If you would like to support our channel, you can do so by scanning the QR codes to the Cash App or the PayPal in the lower left corner. We would greatly appreciate it. Enjoy the show.
All right, so right quick, we're going to do a Snatch Shenanigans of the Week. Let's go ahead and hop right into it.
Tonight after she's accused of abusing a disabled woman. Nia Ayers was arrested in St. Cloud yesterday. She's charged with aggravated abuse of a disabled adult, which is a felony. Fox 35's Hannah McKenzie is live tonight with the latest details. Hannah, you spoke with the victim's mother. What did she tell you?
Marlisa, I did. She is sick to her stomach over this, understandably so. She says her home security footage caught everything, and watching that video back made her nauseous. She is just thanking God tonight that her daughter is even still alive. She didn't want to speak with us on camera because she's still too emotional, understandably so, but she says she hopes this story serves as a lesson for others. That's St. Cloud Police arresting Nia Ayers Wednesday night.
Being charged with aggravated disabled persons abuse.
Ayers is accused of abusing an 18-year-old quadriplegic woman. She's nonverbal and diagnosed with cerebral palsy. The woman's mother called police after finding red scratches around her daughter's mouth and eyes on May 3rd. Chief Douglas Gerke says there's undisputable video evidence showing the assault.
The video was it's horrible. It's horrible to watch.
Acts of torture is how one officer details the abuse in this arrest warrant. The video reportedly shows Ayers taping the victim's mouth shut, then ripping the tape off repeatedly, shaking her head and body, pinching her, shaking her breathing machine so aggressively her nose began to bleed. It also states Ayers held a washcloth over the victim's mouth for 10 seconds, then again for 7 more seconds.
It's just absolutely shocking, and it's unimaginable that somebody could do something like this.
According to the Department of Health, Ayers has been a licensed practical nurse since 2021 and has had no prior complaints or disciplinary action. The victim's mother tells me Ayers has worked in their home for over a year. She worries there may have been past incidents. Gerke says they're still reviewing footage.
If we do find something else, there'll be additional charges coming. We will continue to drop charge after charge after charge on this person to ensure that either she never sees the light of day or she doesn't ever do this again.
Like, what the evil fuck is wrong with this bitch? What, were you bullied in school? Your mama and your daddy never loved you? What the hell was that? What the hell was that? What the hell was that? Nia Ayers. And she got a really effed up last name. Ayers, man. I got a little history with the Ayreses. Miss O know what I'm talking about. But we're going to get back to the show. Miss Nia Ayers, congratulations. You are a snatch. You have made it to this week's Snatch Shenanigans. You evil motherfucker, you. Straight up. Straight up. I hope you get abused. I hope you get tape put to your mouth and nose and ripped off repeatedly while you locked up. Or somebody make you they carpet muncher. How these people, I swear to goodness, this is one sector, one profession. It's several professions that are out here that require psychological evaluations before hiring. You know what I'm saying? So then this is one of them. When you're taking care of other people, children, elderly. All right. So now we about to get into this week's tidbit in health. So let's switch over to that. Let me take care of the video owner of this. Is today.
For those diagnosed with a certain type of cancer, a new study published in the New England Journal of Medicine finding some patients may soon have the option to skip chemo, radiation, and surgery, instead turning to immunotherapy for treatment. NBC News medical contributor Dr. Natalie Azar joins us with more on this. This would seem on its face to be quite significant, Dr. Natalie.
Yeah, well, actually, experts are calling it groundbreaking, this study that was reported over the weekend. So this basically looked at patients for whom standard of care would normally have been to perform surgery first.
Okay.
Instead, these individuals got 6 months of immunotherapy. And at the end of 6 months, 82% of those individuals had no detectable tumor. 80% overall were able to avoid surgery. And at 2 years, 92% had recurrence-free survival. So 2 points about these results. One, on its face, it's obvious. If you can avoid surgery,
sure,
great, right? There's so many things, bladder and bowel dysfunction, among other things. But another nuanced benefit here is that people who still needed to have surgery after, let's say they didn't have a complete response after immunotherapy, they were still able to go ahead and get what's called that curative resection. So delaying surgery was not problematic for those individuals.
Can you remind us, how does immunotherapy actually work? And what is it about immunotherapy that's so effective here?
For this particular type of tumor. So just broadly speaking, remember that immunotherapy is directed therapy, in this case against a genetic mutation, as opposed to chemo, which is pretty indiscriminate, right? It kills cancer cells. It also kills healthy cells. These particular tumors had a genetic mutation that's called mismatch repair deficiency. Real quickly, when cells divide, they make a lot of mistakes. Normally, mismatch repair comes in and repairs those. These tumors shut mismatch repair off. Immunotherapy comes back and unlocks the brakes on your immune system so that you're able to kill those tumor cells. This mismatch repair deficiency mutation, it's only in about 3 to 4% of all tumors, but there's a higher prevalence in certain subtypes: colorectal, gastric, pancreatic, and endometrial.
So that's very powerful. Very powerful. Colorectal, gastric, pancreatic, endometrial cancers. Those are very common cancers. Okay, so immunotherapy. They have finally something that has a breakthrough. It was some stuff that came up in regards to the snatch shenanigans this week. The nurses, CNAs, home givers need empathy training, along with police officers and everybody else who deal with other people. The problem is You can get all the training in the world. That does nothing with your basic wiring. You are who you are. People can change or play the part while they on duty. But certain things happen or occurrences come up where they basic person come back out. So you need to try and filter out people with the basic components who do not have empathy. You need to filter out people who do not have empathy. That's the problem. That's the problem in policing. That's the problem in the healthcare system and any other profession that requires dealing with other people and their issues. You can train somebody all day long on empathy. If they don't have empathy already in their spirit, if not initially, over time as they become cynical and callous with their work, or a specific anecdotal situation comes up, that basic person who does not have empathy is going to come up. So there needs to be some type of psychological process to filter out these motherfuckers who do not have empathy in their fabric. Period. That's the problem. You cannot train empathy into someone. Empathy has to be already there. If it's not already there, someone can play like they have empathy for a time, but either time or a situation is going to bring out that unempathetic person that's there. That's the issue. So we're going to check out Dr. Berg in regards to cancer. Let me cue this up and check out what he got to say.
Cancer thrives in a low vitamin D environment. Let me explain. There's so many different mechanisms on how vitamin D can reduce someone's risk for cancer. So this is really a catch-22 because on one hand, the great importance of vitamin D to help keep you from getting cancer, but on the other hand, if you get cancer, now what? That cancer is going to drive your vitamin D right down to the bottom. Somehow it knows that if you have enough vitamin D, it's very hard for cancer to exist. Number one, vitamin D has the ability to trigger a cell to commit suicide if there's damage to that cell. Because if you think about it, what's cancer? Cancer is a normal cell that converts to a cancer cell because there's some damage to it. Normally what's supposed to happen if that cell is damaged is that it's supposed to commit suicide and get rid of itself. Vitamin D is intimately involved doing the job, so it doesn't go into cancer. Number two, vitamin D helps regulate excess out of control cell growth. If the tumor cell cannot get any nutrition at all or resources, it can die. Next one, vitamin D is anti-inflammatory. One of the hallmarks for cancer is inflammation. Vitamin D normally is supposed to get rid of that inflammation. So several of the things that occur with tumors or cancer is number one, inflammation. Number two, a lack of oxygen. And number three, an alteration in the pH. In other words, the environment where tumors thrive is acid. Well, guess what? Vitamin D enhances almost every part of your immune system. Vitamin D also enhances chemotherapy. And vitamin D also helps to make insulin more sensitive. When people have insulin resistance, they're also greater at risk for getting cancer. Vitamin D actually downgrades genes that cause cancer. And vitamin D greatly supports the gut microbiome that also is like 80% of your immune system. That's what vitamin D can do. Now, let's talk about what cancer does. In a cancer cell, you have inflammation, that lack of oxygen called hypoxia, and you also have an environment where it's very, very acidic. All three of those things block the absorption of vitamin D. They don't allow vitamin D to work. Cancer also blocks the enzymes that help you convert the inactive vitamin D to the active form of vitamin D directly. When you get cancer, there's a lot of damage that occurs to the liver and the kidney, the two very important sites where you have vitamin D metabolism. Then there's one more important piece of the puzzle before I get into the solution, okay? And this involves 4 little tiny glands around your thyroid called the parathyroid gland. Let me explain what that is.
So I want to show you something very interesting about tumors and cancer. 80% of tumors make this specific hormone, which is very similar to the one that we have in the parathyroid gland. Let me just make this really simple. Para means next to thyroid. You have 4 of them. So the thyroid's right here, and you got 4 little glands that are called the parathyroid. The reason why this cancer makes this hormone right here is mainly to extract calcium from the bone, because the purpose of the parathyroid gland is to make sure you have enough calcium in your blood. Cancer somehow is able to make this specific hormone to extract calcium from our bone. This is one of the factors that you'll see in cancer is high levels of calcium in the blood. They call it hypercalcemia. And now you know why, because that darn cancer is making this hormone. It's extracting it from our bones, as well as other resources from the bones as a survival mechanism. But here's the problem. This hormone, when it goes up, actually lowers and inhibits your vitamin D. Too much calcium in the blood will also inhibit vitamin D. So now we got 2 other additional things that suppress this vitamin D.
As you can see, on top of all the other barriers, having genetic problems, having vitamin D resistance from a microbe or an infection, when we get cancer, the need for vitamin D goes straight up and vertical. Let's talk about a solution. There are 2 systems of vitamin D. Vitamin D affecting your bone and calcium, okay? But there's another system that doesn't involve calcium. It doesn't involve your bone. It involves supporting your immune system. The bone system can get by with a small amount of vitamin D once every 2 weeks. The other system needs higher amounts in daily amounts. For cancer, you want to go way up from 10,000. You want to do 50,000 IUs every single day with the magnesium, with the K2, with the zinc. And I want to make a disclaimer. I am not telling you that this is going to cure your cancer. I'm just giving you some additional information, especially since the World Health Organization even acknowledges that vitamin D has anti-carcinogenic properties. It's also interesting that other inflammatory conditions like autoimmune diseases, you have this lowered amount of vitamin D3 because vitamin D3 doesn't work when you have a lot of inflammation. You need to take more. There's quite a few other diseases that you nearly always have low amounts of vitamin D3 in. Autoimmune diseases, osteoarthritis, which is not an autoimmune, but it's an inflammatory disease, TB, tuberculosis, HIV. I talked about part of the solution of just taking more vitamin D3. And so now I'm going to give you a list of all the things that I researched, and I'm going to put the research down below in the description. And these are all epigenetic factors, okay? Things that you can take either supplements or lifestyle changes or even foods, okay? Number 1, magnesium. That's a big one. Omega-3 fatty acids, as in fish oils or cod liver oil. Then we have resveratrol. Next one is quercetin. Those are in onions and different herbs. Curcumin from turmeric. Berberine, also good for blood sugar, can help increase the vitamin D receptor. Intense exercise, as a lifestyle change, can help increase the vitamin D receptor. Sulforaphane in broccoli sprouts. Ginger, fasting, and intermittent fasting. Doing things to make insulin more sensitive, going on a lower carbohydrate diet. When you have insulin resistance with diabetes, that can also lower your ability to absorb vitamin D3. Probiotics can also help with vitamin D. Or just exposing yourself to certain light frequencies like infrared can increase melatonin, and melatonin helps your absorption of vitamin D. Interesting. Decreasing your stress, because high levels of cortisol and adrenaline can lower your absorption of vitamin D3. Because I'm talking about high levels of vitamin D3, I think it's very important to understand the toxicity factor, and if you have not seen this video, you should check it out. I'll put it up right here.
All right, so increase your vitamin D, and a safe way to do so is cod liver oil. Go ahead and start taking that stuff that grandma used to give you back in the 80s. Okay. I personally will not take, because I just had this conversation with Mrs. O, because I was looking at taking, vitamin D supplements and what have you. And then I looked at cod liver oil, or fish oil, but cod liver oil specifically, and it has vitamin D, vitamin A, and all that other stuff. I'm already taking supplements in magnesium and what have you. So cod liver oil is a good natural way to get more vitamin D into your system, okay? The magnesium and zinc you can get from leafy plants and, things of that nature. And if in all possible, get your nutrients from food, whole food, natural food, plants. Okay. Do that lifestyle change first. Go ahead and get a vitamin and mineral deficiency test and see where you lacking at, and then make supplement. Then take supplements to address those deficiencies and what have you. Because we in this country is set up where we can't get everything we need out of what we eat. So we're gonna have to find some type of supplement to make sure we get everything we need. Okay. But if you pretty much on a planetarian diet or what have you, not vegan or is it vegan and then the other one's vegan or something? Anyway, make sure you get a lot of leafy plants in your diet. That takes care of most of your magnesium, your zincs, your irons. That take care of most of that and what have you. All right. And then that cod liver oil will take care of that vitamin D. All right. We live in a part of the United States where, the sun don't come out that much, so we need to look at other sources for vitamin D. And we don't drink, me and Mrs. O, we don't consume cow's milk. Okay, we do, what is it that we do? It's some kind of nut. Walnut, cashew, some type of milk derived from some nut, what have you. So we use that type of milk, what have you. We don't use animal milk. Anyway, that's your tidbit health tidbit for the week. Next, we're going to get into the video. Let me get this queued up. Almond milk. Almond milk. That's what it is. Thank you, Mrs. O. Almond milk. That's what we consume. So we're going to go ahead and get into the video. check it out.
Took a minute. Yeah. About time I committed. Hard times felt like giving up, but your love kept me winning. Don't hesitate, got to make haste. Oh yeah, just set your pace, endure the race. Oh yeah, you were always my day one. You have shown me where I'm from. This is why I need your love.
Stay. Many mansions, how we get to this place. Follow the signs, look at the gates. Name on the list, don't be late. Guys on earth, we here to stay. Many mansions, how we get to this place. Follow the signs, look at the gates. Name on the list, don't be late. I wanna live forever. How long forever? I wanna live forever. How long forever? I wanna live forever. How long forever? I wanna live forever.
Before the beginning of time, heavenly, divine. This was the image of mine, God body in design, poetry in the motion. Now it's starting to align, every detail defined. I like a line upon line. Whoa. This is the way, this is the truth, this is the light. Talking about Christ, wisdom in the beginning of life, winning the fight. And that's thus say the Lord moving forward. Look at how it glitter on his sword. 144K points on the board. Only thing we're looking for is forever.
God's on earth, we here to stay. Many mansions, how we get to this place. Follow the signs, look at the gates. Name on the list, don't be late. God's on earth, we here to stay. Many mansions, how we get to this place. Follow the signs, look at the gates. Name on the list, don't be late. I wanna live forever. How long forever? I wanna live forever. How long forever? I wanna live forever. How long forever? I wanna live forever. How long forever?
I want the glory. I want the grace. I need that wisdom to shine, illumination of the face. I need that forever love, the kind that never fade away. Cause I'm here to stay. Reach them golden gates. Now it's time, open up, let righteousness shine, fill up the cup. Cause I can't imagine a place that I'd rather be than to sit with the anointed king. Throne of wisdom, throne of power, no more rain, no more showers. Arrayed in glory, more than flowers. Live forever, say it loud.
Ooh-wee. Baby, that was hot. At the man, that sister sung. She sang at the end of that, boy. Woo! I almost want to do a replay on that. Man, that's a new favorite. I tell you that. Yes, it is. Boy, that voice got, man, she had range in that. I absolutely love it. That's one of my new favorites, baby. All right. So we look at Tyre Nichols and Ryan Hilton. Two very, and once again, this situation just keeps reoccurring. And guess what, folks? It's going to continue to reoccur. Why? Why will it reoccur? Because as a people, we do not follow the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High God. For Tyre Nichols, even though he was in a heightened state, what if he just went on ahead and submitted? Let them secure him and do their job. Would he still be here today? In regards to Ryan Hilton, what if he just surrendered right then and there? Or maybe he was just riding along with his friends who stolen the car previously. But now the boys pull up on you. Instead of running, hey, hands up, submit, let them secure you. Let me get rid of this right quick. Let me pull this up. 1 Peter 2 and 13. I got one more thing to take off. Let me get that off. Submit yourselves to every ordinance of man for the Lord's sake, whether it be the king as supreme or unto governors as to unto them that are sent by him for punishment of evildoers. See, the Most High, the people who are in authority right now are in place by the Most High. They're there only because the Most High put them there. For this is the will of God, that well-doing well may put to silence the ignorance of foolish men. Matthew 5:25. Agree with thy adversary quickly, whilst thou art in the way with him, lest at any time the adversary deliver thee to the judge, and the judge deliver thee to the officer, and thou be cast into prison. And so every time our people end up in a situation that imprisons them, exposes them, deletes them, they are in the act of sin. Examine every one of them. And what if you just followed the law of the Most High God? Would you be there? Would you act like that? I truly believe if we would just follow the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High God, we as a people will not incur most of the suffering that we incur. It is at our own demise. We are doing acts at our own demise. You got to look at yourself. Esau is going to be Esau. He's doing his job. Your job is to follow the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High God, and you will not be in the places, you will not commit the acts that will subject you to the ills that we are experiencing and have been experiencing. We on this side of the pond because we do not follow the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High God. What if you just followed the law? Ms. O said we want to hear the song again before closing. Okay, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna go ahead and do the song, do the video one more time, and then we're gonna go ahead and close the show. But this has been Surreal Sundays. I'm your host, Old School Exit 9, and remember, you are your brother and sister's keeper. And we won't be here next week. Next week is the observance of Pentecost. We observe what we are commanded to observe according to the Bible. We don't do Christmas. We don't do July 4th. We don't do St. Patrick's Day. We don't do Mother's Day, Father's Day, any other day. But what's listed in the Bible, according to the Most High, law, statutes, and commandments, according to our culture, which is written in the Bible. My people, get back to your culture. Stop observing their culture. And with that, peace. I'm gonna go ahead and cue up this video, and then we out. I see you in 2 weeks.
Took a minute. Yeah. About time I committed. Hard times felt like giving up, but your love kept me winning. Don't hesitate, got to make haste. Oh yeah, just set your pace, endure the race. Oh yeah, you were always my day one. You have shown me where I'm from. This is why I need your love.
Stay. Many mansions, how we get to this place. Follow the signs, look at the gates. Name on the list, don't be late. Guys on earth, we here to stay. Many mansions, how we get to this place. Follow the signs, look at the gates. Name on the list, don't be late. I wanna live forever. How long forever? I wanna live forever. How long forever? I wanna live forever. How long forever? I wanna live forever.
Before the beginning of time, heavenly, divine. This was the image of mine, God body in design. Poetry in the motion, now it's starting to align. Every detail defined, I like a line upon line. Whoa. This is the way, this is the truth, this is the light. Talking about Christ, wisdom in the beginning of life, winning the fight. And that's thus say the Lord moving forward. Look at how it glitter on his sword. 144K points on the board. Only thing we're looking for is forever.
God's on earth, we here to stay. Many mansions, how we get to this place. Follow the signs, look at the gates. Name on the list, don't be late. God's on earth, we here to stay. Many mansions, how we get to this place. Follow the signs, look at the gates. Name on the list, don't be late. I wanna live forever. How long forever? I wanna live forever. How long forever? I wanna live forever. How long forever? I wanna live forever. How long forever?
I want the glory. I want the grace. I need that wisdom to shine, illumination of the face. I need that forever love, the kind that never fade away. Cause I'm here to stay. Reach them golden gates. Now it's time, open up, let righteousness shine, fill up the cup. Cause I can't imagine a place that I'd rather be than to sit with the anointed king. Throne of wisdom, throne of power, no more rain, no more showers. Arrayed in glory, more than flowers. Live forever, say it loud.
Sang.
Make sure you get in. Can't let your guard down. Better not let God down. You just can't back out, cause it getting hard now. You know you feel for this. Just might get killed for this. It's gonna pay off in the end. Just make sure you get in. It's your spirit warring with your flesh, trying to get the best of you. It's all in your head and in your mind. Can't let it mess with you. Trials and tribulation, that's every day. That's what we go through. Are you gonna face it? Stand up like a man. Tell me what you gonna do. No more complaining. Gotta walk blameless. Gotta be humble. You might not get famous. We go through changes. We go through phases. This my life story. Just flip the pages. Just keep enduring. Enduring, keep the law. Cause you don't want it call. You could've still been out here lost. Woke you up to the truth, so don't sleep on it at all. Try not to fall. Try hard to ball. Can't let your guard down. Better not let God down. You just can't back out, cause it getting hard now. You know you built for this. Just might get killed for this. It's gonna pay off in the end. Make sure you get in. Can't let your guard down. Better not let God down. You just can't back out, cause it getting hard now. You know you built for this. Just might get killed for this. It's gonna pay off in the end. Just make sure you get in.
I'm standing up, I'm standing tall, ain't laying down, cause I'm standing on it. Oppression make a grown man mad, make you cry, don't it? I pray to God that life so hard, so I'm calling on ya. I gotta endure until the end, I know they counting on me. Just got some bad news, damn, man, they killed my homie. Hit him 9 times, he never saw it coming. Remember the last time, I think I saw you, bruh. Gave you a fire with the knowledge, you didn't want it, bruh. Damn. I'ma speak my mind, I'ma tell you the truth. It's hard on them, it's hard on us, it's hard on me, it's hard on you. I'm built for this, ain't equipped for this. Might get killed for this. I pray you repent before your time is up. Your time
Can't
is
let your
spent.
guard down. Better not let God down. You just can't back out, cause it getting hard now. You know you built for this. Just might get killed for this. It's gonna pay off in the end. Make sure you get in. Can't let your guard down. Better not let God down. You just can't